And the thing you told me not to do. All right. And we are back. Thank you very much for joining us on Norton Consultations. This is Frenchie. Apparently, I don't talk to Dave. I'm going to get a earful after. How are you, Dave?
I'm good, Lou. Mess ups like that is why we have pre-production meetings. If only somebody listened to me in them.
If only someone wasn't brain dead, like I said 1,000 billion times, it should have connected. This was my face during the whole time. All right, enough about me. Thank you very much for joining us, Christina. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you? I'm so excited to be on the show tonight.
Well, we're happy to have you on. Let's jump right into this, okay? What is your first taste of schmodown? Like, how did you discover it?
So I didn't discover it. Actually, my husband, back when we were dating, he is the reason. He is actually the big movie buff in the family. So he is the one with the 2000 DVD collection. And when I used to work part-time, so I would come home around like 8:30 at night, and he would be watching like movie fights. And he's like, I wasn't ready for you to like know how much of a nerd I am. Also, like, I found this trivia show, and I was like, oh, I like trivia. This was back when we were fun and like COVID wasn't a thing, and we would go out to the bars and trivia all the time. Like, I like movies, I like trivia. Let's watch this show. And then it became like our obsession. This was our thing. Like, we have been to the live events. Like, this is it's seen us through our apartment, our marriage, our house. Like, it's been in our life for years now. So it started out, we were boyfriend and girlfriend, and now we've been married for 3 years, and the schmodown is still in our life. So
a love story if I've ever heard one. If you don't mind me asking, who's better at movie trivia, you or your husband?
Oh God, it's definitely him, actually, because he's just like seen so much stuff. Now, I will say there's a lot of times where like I'll know the answer and I'll be like, yo, it's the guy that was like in that thing, and then he'll be like, oh yeah, it's blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's who I know. That's what I was thinking. So like that's where like we work together, where I'll recognize the person, but then I won't be able to place their name. So that's what I need his brain for.
Well, I'm sure you still have some recall, because you said something before, bar trivia, and we know you were in the other leagues as well, right? So yeah. you might be underselling yourself, okay? If you've done both, it's because you got some recall and you have experience in movie trivia, maybe like compared to certain rookies that are on draft lists, nothing taken away from them, but you do have a leg up because you are not camera shy. You have experience to have competition and the rounds and the pressure and etc. Right? So you do have a leg up.
Oh yeah, I mean, and definitely, and I try not to take everything so seriously. There's definitely people in the fan leagues that like really beat themselves up if they don't know a question. I'm a real big fan of no blank board, so I'll just write random stuff sometimes, and it gets a laugh. It calms my nerves, because sometimes it's embarrassing when you don't know a question. But, you might know the next 4. So it's kind of like you just have to let that roll off your back. I'm pretty good at that. I don't really take it too hard if I don't get a question right. I have a terrible poker face that you will 100% know when I know the answer. I'm like, yes! I vigorously write it down. Like, there is I don't have any, I'm not smooth. And I'm like, oh, does she know it? No, if I know it, because I'm like, this is the greatest question ever.
When you talk about not having a poker face, something that we like finding out when we talk to new rookies, what is most important to you when you get into the schmodown? Is it going to be you're all about the winning, or are you there to put on a good show?
Oh, I am all about just talking shit. I am like, yeah, I mean, winning would be great, but I think when I think back to when I first started watching the schmodown, this was like season 3, where everything wasn't so serious. It was just a great time. Or who was dancing in, and I feel like I would be the competitor that maybe like more of the casual fans would appreciate, or like a newcomer would want to see, because as much as we love the intense like Bateman versus Merle matches, we love it because we know the history and we've watched the journey. But if you're some random guy watching that match, you're probably like, you know, this is super hard and super serious and super intense. So like we're entertained because we know the backstory. But if you're a random person, you're probably like, what's happening? So I think I would be the person that maybe the casual schmodown fan or the new people would really want to get involved in my matches because I would hope to bring a good time and just give them something fun to watch.
Well, you see, one of the other shows I do is with Jay Wade, and he does say sometimes the fun is gone, right? There's a couple of teams that are fun, entertaining, but it's a lot of serious, a lot of sport, which is cool. But you need those matches, like say in the spectacular, to give a little breather, right? Not just the heavy things. You need some just smiles, and so I'm happy to hear that because it's definitely a need in the schmodown. Now, that being said, another little exercise I like to do is, you know, there's more seasons are advancing, more I realize there's a lot of types of players, right? You got your, like the kid, he's a sponge. He learns different little techniques and applies it to himself. And you got, you know, the self-taught library, like a McQueenie and a Doralde, right? And you got people who are just dead set on making their own ways of studying, like Smasher, right? So how would you describe to the managers in maybe 3 words your player style in the schmodown?
F shit up. That's what I'd like to do.
I like that. I like that.
Now you're talking about effing shit up. Effing shit up cannot be done as a solo act anymore. How do you see yourself fitting in on a faction if you're just there to F shit up?
Well, I'm there to F shit up on their behalf.
Okay.
I'm a team player. I know that the last few people that have come up from the fan leagues came in blazing, and they're like right to their title shots. And I would love to tell you I'm that talented, but I'm aware of who I am. So I am not that type of player. I don't know if I'll ever become that type of player, but I'm the type of player that I hope to win the matches that I get put in. That if you match people up in maybe those lower levels, those entertainment matches, that I can still bring home points for my faction. That I still want to help the people that are in my faction that are going to be the ones that are taking it all the way. I will be there in your study sessions. I love watching movies. And now that we don't have anything else better to do, I'm down to watch them. And I feel like I have a little bit of a different taste. From what I learned a lot of the fan leagues, and you guys will meet Peggy later on, there's not a lot of like stereotypical women-driven questions. And when they do, we're the only ones that ever get them right. So sometimes it's just how we're brought up. I was brought up with all girls. So we watch quote unquote like girly movies our whole life. So anytime those kind of movies come up, I know all the answers to them, but people that didn't grow up like that don't know them. So it's like, I think I bring a little bit of a difference to it of maybe just how people were watching movies.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. And so obviously going to be a great asset having that diverse skill set when you come into any faction. As you say, the questions can be written a certain way and you bring a new dynamic to it. When you talk about your play in the other leagues, how do you think that will help you as you transition into the schmodown?
I definitely think it helps me acknowledge my weaknesses. I mean, you don't really know, like, you know, we all play against the schmodown, but you don't really know what you know and don't know until the pressure's on you, where you're keeping score really. And when you're figuring out, oh, everybody else knew that director and I didn't know that director. So that's something, you know, obviously that seems like stuff people should pick up. So I need to work on that a little bit more. So I think like it's definitely made me aware of where the holes in my game are and my knowledge. So I'll know that going ahead of time, the things that I'm really strong in versus the things that I'm not strong in.
Now, and I am curious because it kind of reveals certain things, right? Your inspirations. And the only thing is I'm taking 3 off the list. You can't pick Harloff. You cannot pick Ben Bateman. And you cannot pick Dan Murrell. But if you could have a schmodown masterclass in all aspects of schmodown and pick their brains for a day, who would you choose?
Oof. See, but I feel like I understand the game very well. So I don't know if I would need anybody that's particularly good at strategy. So I would probably want to pick somebody that just has a general like wealth of knowledge and just like how they retain that. So I would probably have to go with Bibiani or Irwin. They just like know stuff. And I don't know if that's studying. I don't know if that's just genetically how their brain is wired. I don't know if it's just this is their, this is their profession, is to know all this stuff. So they just remember it. But I just like, to me, that's fascinating. Just when people just can remember like that kind of information and that just like depth of knowledge.
And for me, it's perfect because Bibiani also brings the knowledge. But if you're talking about masterclass, it touches, intros, it touches the personality, it touches so many things. And, even though he is the good guy, he can still F some shit up too, and he brings a certain gravitas that not a lot of people have. And so if you can soak that in, look what it did to the kid, right?
Right.
I would love to know, all things being equal, you get to do a studio match eventually. Do you have like a dream entrance that you would love to do, as you seem a very theatrical person?
Oh man, I've never even thought about like a real entrance. I loved the ones where when Clark and Rachel came out, and it was like all the girls. So I would guess just anything that's a girl power moment, or just something where you get like the whole faction involved and just kind of like really hype you up and just kind of, I know this is hard to believe sometimes, but I don't really love all the attention on myself all the time. So I would love to do like maybe a big group one. That would be fun.
I have a suggestion in that case. What about Mean Girls inspired?
Okay, I love Mean Girls.
All right, we'll talk after. We'll
yeah. I'll give you credit for the idea. That's fine.
If we just want to turn this away from a Christina interview to Mean Girl talk, my sister made me watch Mean Girls once a week for an entire year. So I'm down for that.
Yeah, I just watched it the other night, so I'm down. I'm expressing
it. Did you know there's a Mean Girls 2? Like that escaped my sphere. I never.
I did, because wasn't that like a straight to DVD or something?
Yeah, it looks like a straight to DVD.
Yeah, it looks like, it's like all like they bring it on.
Now, Christina, do you see yourself? You're talking about effing shit up, but you're obviously, just by being on this call with you for a little bit, you seem like a very positive person. So, would you be okay playing heel, playing face? Where do you think your strengths lie?
Well, I mean, I was told on SEN Live by Roxy that I look like I smile too much. I can't help it if I'm a happy person. I have a very nice life. No, I'm from New Jersey. I'm right outside of Philly. So like, I feel like my natural personality tends to lean heel. I just have like a major attitude problem sometimes. And I just think it's really more fun to just like talk poop and like make fun of other people. So I will do either, but for me, I think it would be more fun to be a heel. But I feel like everybody probably wants to be a heel, but honestly, it's just, I wouldn't even be acting. It would just be me being myself.
Nice. And
they say the best characters are just heightened versions of yourself. So you obviously have that that down.
I'm just me.
And there's a lot of people like they stay out of like other faction stuff and you just concentrate on the game. And there's some people that you attack one of their teammates and instantly on Twitter doing conversation and back and forth. Are you that type of person to defend your teammates, or you just concentrate on your own game?
Yeah, I'm a real big like loyalty, like don't mess with my people kind of girl. So I would think that if somebody came for one of my own, like I'm definitely clapping back. I don't know how much I like to do things publicly on social media, but I guess if it's all within the persona, it's a little different than my own personal. I try not to blast like all my personal stuff all over the place, but as long as it's just schmodown related, then that's all in good fun.
Now you're talking about clapping back at other people if they come at your people. When you get your people, when you get drafted, because just in 15 minutes, I have no doubt that you'd be an asset to any faction. But what are you bringing to that faction? What is the biggest asset that you are bringing to the table?
just probably I would think probably my loyalty. Like I'm a ride or die person. That's how I am with my friendships. You know, I'm all in. You know, if they need me, I am there. I'm down to help them prep, watch movies, write questions for them. You know, if creepy dudes are like sliding into their DMs and stuff, like let me know. I'll handle that. You know, if people are yelling on the Facebook group that people are overrated, I can handle that as well. So like, just, you know, I kind of get like mama bear mode. Like, don't come for my friends. So so I feel like I get ultra protective when it comes to that. So on top of being a team player and helping the team get better, I feel like I would feel very protective of the people that are on my team and just don't make them sad, or I'll make them sad.
You know, I've heard a rumor that next year, if a tie happens, the tie will be broken by trial by combat. So definitely draft Christina. You guys are going to win that fight.
The night my husband, we were dating, the first time he told me he loved me, we were at a charity event and he really wanted this one thing. And I may or may not have just like loudly threatened to like stab someone with my stiletto if they would like stop bidding on the thing that he wanted.
Damn.
Yeah. So like, I'm ready for that.
On that note, this is your time to go and give yourself a little promo to give the managers and Harloff a little taste of who you are. So give it to us, man.
Oh, okay. Let me get into character. I already know who I'm calling out. This was already prearranged, and I already got the okay. So I'm not a total a-hole, everyone. Rick Rager, can we talk about what you're doing with your voice? Like, are you Batman? Like, I'm confused. You're like, I'm the Rager. Like, are you? Or are you like a really like JV Christian Bale wannabe? Like, you really talk a lot of smack in a really voice, but can you back it up, bro? If you see me in the ring, do you think you can handle it? Can you answer questions in a normal voice? I don't know, bro. I don't know. But let's make it happen. Me and you.
Okay. You try. You. Some people are nice and polite, or they're like, I'll be direct. You're like, yeah, I'm cutting you open. And all right, I like that.
The schmodown needs the great female heel, and I have no doubt that Christina could be that. We need the next Brienne Chandler, and this has been fantastic.
So that being said, before we go to the last part of the show, me and Dan are gonna choose who we in our gut feel should or definitely would be a perfect fit for you, faction wise.
Do you want me to get Dan on the phone? Do you want me to leave and I can go get Dan?
It's been a long day. My brain doesn't work. Yeah. Give me a second. Yeah.
Why are you looking all the overlays, Lou?
Because you pissed me off. All right. All right. So Dan, you ready? We're gonna give our predictions. I'll start with me. I'm stuck between both because he said Mama Bear and he said F things up. But with that promo, who better to F things up than with corruption? You are definitely corruption material in my books.
Well, Shannon is my hero.
I gotta say, when she was talking about the it looks like people say I look like I smile too much. I'm a nice person, but I'm going to come at you. Immediately, Chandru's face flashed in my mind. And I was like, man, the two of them, it could be the most polite. Swag could become the most polite, rude faction of all time. And that is what I am here for.
All right. So swag and corruption. All right. Perfect. Look, before we end, this is one question we ask to everyone, right? And we always have really interesting choices. Yesterday got Sky High. That made my day. But if aliens would come and erase all movies, but they're nice enough to say, hey, we're giving you a week to watch movies, what would be your last 3 movies you would watch as a final goodbye?
Back to the Future.
Ooh.
It is my favorite movie of all time. What's Your Number, starring Chris Evans and Anna Faris, because that movie makes me so happy. And I'm like torn between the childhood favorite of Aladdin or no, let's be real. I'm going Avengers Endgame because I love Chris Evans and I need to see him, wield the hammer one last time. So I gotta, it's like, and I just love Chris Evans, so I need to watch as many Chris Evans movies as I'm allowed. So
nice. All right. Well, look, thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah, and sorry for my brain malfunctions.
No worries.
All right. So again, if people, or I'm sure people want to contact you and follow you, where can they follow you?
I am on Twitter. I put my handle as my name here. It's at Christina_VEE19. Yeah, you guys can follow me on there. I have a few people that are trying to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, but I try to keep that personal. So please, guys, if you want to follow me, you're more than welcome to follow me on Twitter. And that's where I'll be.
And Dave, my man.
You can find me at Leaves Me Alone, but that's a terrible follow. So what you should do is you should go subscribe to Schmoes of the North on YouTube. Join our Facebook page full of great Canadian Schmodown fans and even people who aren't Canadian, but are just really nice people.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Norton Consultations. Till next time, bonsoir.
French.